Let me preface this by saying that I'm a real estate agent here in Metro Atlanta, and I do have several properties that are in HOA communities. The whole point of me making that video was to tell buyers to do their research. Be careful what HOA you buy into because of the issues that I was having trying to sell my property. Guys, it's not only about the financials, which is very important, but it's also about the rules and regulations, the covenants, the bylaws. All those things tell you what you're buying into, and you should be able to get those documents, review them during your due diligence to decide if you want to move forward with the deal or not. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that you're working with an agent that's able to navigate and get to those documents in a timely manner so you can review them during your due diligence. It's one area that my agent didn't counsel me properly. Because as a buyer, you rely on the agents to guide you in those things, and yeah, she dropped the ball big time. And I was already an agent. I was doing more property management back then. But I was also overseas working, so I wasn't in the States. A lot of the things that I did was through that agent doing most of the footwork for me in country while I was out of country. When I bought it cash. So I didn't have to go through a lender underwriting process to look at the financials, look at insurance and all the things. But granted, that was like over 10 years ago. So they could have been in a different financial situation then than they are now. All this is coming to light now that I'm trying to sell. So again, the point of the video was not to bash HOAs. As a realtor, I do see that they have a purpose. But it's to tell you, if you're looking to buy into an HOA community, look at all the documents, doing your due diligence before you buy so you're not surprised the way that I am. Even if you're buying it cash, even if you don't have a lender underwriting requirement, look at all the HOA documents.
I told you I'm going to do more heavy real estate today. I'm telling you, because there's so much stuff that's lingering out here that people are. Let's talk about these HOAs. I'm dumping on real estate today. I think I'm dumping on it because there's enough people out here, in my personal opinion, they're just doing a bunch of stupid stuff and I keep seeing it. So HOA.
I'm being billed $22,000 for a house that I bought exactly 12 months ago. So I live in an HOA and I purchased my home in May of 2024. And in March of 2025, this year, I was made aware that there was going to be a hefty assessment fee that needs to be paid. Apparently, there's major work that needs to be done, and I was told that my portion was going to be $23,000. That amount has been reduced to $22,000. Now, I was originally told that we had till June 1st to make half of the payment, and then the rest would be paid after the work was done. That's when I was notified that no, it's not due June 1st. It's actually due April 30th. At this point, it's like the beginning of April at this point. I went back and forth with my HOA, like, hey, I wasn't made aware of this. Like, what were the notifications like? How were you sending these out? Well, they acknowledged that while the communication was really spotty for it, I should have been notified about the work needing to be done before I purchased the home. I was legitimately just called about this as I was filming this. Anyways, if you live in a townhouse that is in an HOA, then you know you have to approve of the HOA documents before purchasing the home. So how that works is the seller will request the HOA documents from the association, and then the association will provide the HOA documents to the seller, and then the seller provides them to you. You go over those documents to ultimately make the decision of, is this an association that I want to be a part of, or does these rules and regulations just not align with what I want? Long story short, my realtor was sent the documents that stated that there was going to need to be this work done in spring of 2025. She never forwarded those documents to me. When I confronted my realtor about not providing me with the documents, she immediately went into defense mode, calling my house a dump and saying, how could you not tell that this house needed work? And like, let's not get it twisted. My house is not like, it's not perfect, but it's also not in shambles. All the issues that I could see with my house were like things that could be fixed, like paint chipping and whatever. But like, no, from the naked eye, you can absolutely not tell that there needs to be $23,000 worth of work going into it, which the work.
Okay, so let me stop her real quick. Keep in mind, HOAs, think of the mafia. Okay, think of the real estate mafia. You buy a property, they always in your pocket like, yo, what up? We need our cut. Or worse, cartel. We taking everything, bro. Pay us for protection. And it really is protection. So if you don't know what an HOA is, and I'm assuming if you started this video and you're watching it, or you're here listening to me talk about this, or her talk, you have an idea what an HOA is. HOA is. What you may not know is there are mandatory HOAs, there's voluntary HOAs, and then there's no HOAs. So not every HOA is a mandatory HOA. But if it's a mandatory HOA, which we have quite a few of them in Georgia, that HOA is going to require you to do certain specific things. They're going to have guidelines that you need to have in your email for you to read before you finish closing on that property. You should be able to know what the HOA, you should know what the HOA fees are, if there are any assessments that are attached to it, when those assessments are due, how much those assessments make up in the fee, because in your HOA letter that the seller pays $75, $100, $200, $300 to get before you close on a house, they pay for it for you. That letter transfers it into the new buyer's name. So they got to pay that, which I've done plenty of times, for the new buyer to actually take possession and be recorded in the HOA as the owner. You are supposed to know every single thing about the HOA at that time. You should know if they have enough money in surplus or if they are struggling. I've been at HOAs where you had a bunch of money in surplus, which was good. That means they could fix things that got broken, street lights, playground stuff, any of that. And then I've been in HOAs where, damn, you're like, shoot, freak. You mean to tell me you negative 20,000? Oh no. Godly. But if you decide that you're going to ignore it, like some people do, and just, oh, this is my HOA letter, and put to the side, never ask the questions, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And HOAs are mafias. And I'm going to tell you what Georgia's doing about that if you stay plugged in. I'm going to tell you what they're doing about it.
Costing $23,000 is kind of a stretch too, because guess who we're making our checks out to?
The HOA, what she's saying, she has an assessment that's due to the HOA for $23,000. That has additional fees, late fees, anything that's in there. So she has a $23,000 bill due on her house. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you don't have that bill paid or you can't pay it, the HOA in Georgia can foreclose and take your house. No lie. It's happened. You can buy a $500,000 house, have a $23,000 assessment, not pay it, and you lose it. And damn, I hope you don't have any equity in it, because they will take it, resell it in the HOA. They don't, you get the money in Georgia. I don't know. You get that money, that difference of making up their fee. But why do you want to lose your house over something like that? And that's the craziest part.
We're making our checks out to the president's construction company. Yes, the president of my association, his construction company is the one that we'll be making our checks out to. So it's really a conflict of interest. So do I think that my house really needs $23,000 worth of work? No. But do I have any control over that? No. Side note, there is a law right now in Minnesota that's working to be passed about this specific scenario, which makes me think that somebody in my association went to the press or something like that. If you look at that paragraph.
Minnesota. Oh, I tell you, Minnesota, bro. Stealing Somalian money, Somalians stealing money, and now y'all stealing home HOA money. This is so backwards. It makes sense to me now how you get a $23,000 assessment and the president of the HOA has the construction company that does the work. Oh, God. Y'all just rob people left and right. Thieves, bro. Thieves.
It states here, the reformer has reported on the stories of homeowners who were surprised with huge bills for repairs they didn't think were necessary. At least one property management company also owns a construction firm, raising questions about conflict of interest. I feel like this is about my association, but nonetheless, it's just a conflict of interest. Why would we be paying out the president's company for work that needs to be done for such a high dollar amount? This is a very long, drawn-out story, so let me know if you guys want a part 2.
No.
Hey guys, so I live in an HOA and I got another HOA horror story for you. So I recently just had my driveway extended like yesterday. It took a month, actually over a month, to get approved because I kept getting rejected, but I finally figured out what the rules were. That was on me. And I got my driveway extended per the parameters of the HOA guidelines, which is it can only be extended 3 feet on either side from the existing driveway. So I extended it 3 feet on either side using the same type of materials that the original driveway was constructed with when we bought the house. So I had a neighbor walk by and looked at my driveway, and she was just like, hey, just so you know, I don't think, this is allowed. And I was like, oh no, I got the HOA approval. I had to submit a whole application with a sketch and a mock photo and like the vendor's proposal and all that stuff. She's like, yeah, but it looks too big. And they said the only rule was I can only be 3 feet on either side of the existing driveway. That's my extension zone, and I cannot go to the sidewalk. I have to stop before the sidewalk. So I'm well within that. So yeah, but it looks a lot bigger than the other driveways. And I'm just like, yeah, and I just don't think I'm comfortable with that. And I was like, ma'am, you're not even on the HOA board. So yeah, but they're gonna be hearing from me. And I was like, dear freaking God. So I'm going to make it my mission to make sure this woman never gets any position of authority on the HOA board as long as we live here. But this woman, whenever she walks around the neighborhood, I guess inspecting her fellow neighbors, making sure they're following the rules, she takes her really loud, obnoxious little dog, like it's a Chihuahua, which is like my least favorite breed, to each their own. Like I have no problem with people owning dogs. She lets it crap everywhere and doesn't even pick it up. So now that I know that she does that regularly, I also know that actually is against HOA guidelines. So I'm definitely going to be recording that and sending that to the HOA like every time. Because, hey, you want to mess with me, Betty, we're going to go toe to toe.
HOA is a mafia regardless of wherever you live. So I tell people, you need to know what type of restraints that the state has placed on your HOA. You need to know what they can and cannot do. Because these jokers will do anything and everything if nobody puts them in check, okay? And Georgia, thank you, Georgia. People talk about Georgia. You guys come from New York and y'all down here, oh, I can't take it. I can say one thing about Georgia. Georgia, even though it has its issues on the state level, that it does very well when it comes to people who own houses, people who own businesses, incentivizing them and protecting their rights. So I'm hoping that this passes.
Homeowners associations in Georgia may soon have to answer to a state oversight office. A bill to rein in what legislatures call HOA abuse of power passed the Senate today. It addresses many of the issues uncovered in Anastasia Olmos's investigative series, HOA Nightmares.
One thing is clear from the stories that we've covered in the last year, from all of the communities that we've been in to the Senate floor vote today, Georgia homeowners need oversight of their.
If you're watching this, like, subscribe, please. I love it when people do that. It helps the algorithm. Let's go.
HOAs. For years, HOA bills in Georgia never even made it to the Senate floor for a vote. Today, SB 406 not only passed, it passed unanimously. In our own survey of 200 homeowners experiencing issues with their HOAs, we found they owe an average of more than $8,000 for things like not power washing their home or having dull shutters. Many are in lawsuits with liens on their homes and no way to afford a lawyer. In short, this bill would assign HOA oversight to the Secretary of State, including enforcement powers, create a 5-person state board to review complaints and hold hearings, require HOAs to keep 10 years of financial records, and provide the previous year to the state,
Raise foreclosure threshold of $4,000. Let's run.
Foreclosure threshold from $2,000 to $4,000 in unpaid dues, not fines and fees. Program funding.
So, unpaid dues, not fines and fees. Unpaid dues. This is necessary. I had a deal before I was doing a fix and flip on it, and crazy talk. This is crazy talk. They said that the HOA basically said, hey, well, they didn't basically say, they said it. If you're going to buy this house, nobody can rent this house. That means the whole subdivision was banned from renting. And if you had to rent, the HOA had to approve it. And guess what? There was only a 20% threshold, meaning that only 20% of these houses that, and I think we had a total of about 150 houses in the HOA, only 20%. Anything about E-estate yet? Okay, E-estate yet. I don't. Okay, cool. Danny Jones. All right, Danny. Like HOA, I'm still trying to figure out. Like they turned around and banned, and they said 20%, and you had 186 houses in that subdivision. Oh my gosh, it's horrible because I get a contract on it, and the people that's buying it, somebody's buying it for them to lease it from them for at least the first 6 months, and then buy it from them after that 6 months. I'm like, that's private business. But they said, listen, if the person living there is not the same person that's on the title, guess what? We're going to fine you $50 to $75 every month. Not just that, we're also going to fine you. Also won't have any say or anything that happens. That means they're going to live there, and they can't go to any HOA meetings. They won't know any updates that took place. I thought it was horrible, bro. Thought it was horrible. You got to bring these HOAs in because nobody wants to pay $600,000, $500,000 for a house, and then you tell me I can't do what I want to do with it. And I'm not talking about painting it pink, but I'm damn well talking about if I needed to lease it out to my kids, to someone. You don't need to be the person telling me I can't do it.
Would come from an annual registration fee of $100 per association, and we spoke with the bill's sponsor, Senator Matt Brass, right after the vote.
Your initial reaction?
Excited. A lot of work went into that. Senator Donzella James started working on this 5 years ago. She brought me in about 3 years ago by sending some constituents to me, and I just think everybody out there needs to know their voices are heard, and we're going to continue fighting for them.
The bill also allows HOAs to opt out of registering, but they would not be able to issue any fines or fees. Now, the next step for this bill to become law would be for it to head over to the House for a final vote. Of course, we will keep you updated. I'm Anastasia Olmos reporting at the Capitol, Atlanta.
HOAs. So if you're buying a house, keep in mind that HOA is very important. You really should get those HOA docs, review them, and make sure before you buy it that it's the right one. That